Good evening, everybody. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Hey, everybody. Welcome. Come on in. We are live again. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Come on in. It's been a minute, it feels like. But because we didn't go live Saturday, Montana and I did something with the HBCUs that we're going to try different. So wasn't here on Saturday. Of course, Sunday we're off, and here we are. It's Monday. So welcome back. Don't forget to hit the like as you come in. And let's get started. So I'll give you guys a few minutes to come in, and then we're gonna talk about this. We got something. There was something to say. Let me see. Let's see. Good evening, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me see if I can get this to act right tonight. ATC, listen, I have been looking for you. It's been a minute. So when we talked last on the phone, I told you that I was going to give you a wrench, and I don't know how to do it through StreamYard. So the very next time you catch me live straight through YouTube, then I will do that. I promise. But thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Everybody, come on in. Let me know you're here so I can say hello to you. Again, I'm going to drop the link in the chat. There's a couple of things we're going to talk about, and we're going to get right into Jonathan Hay. Jonathan Hay, if you guys don't know who he is, we will be talking about that. Free fall in on the agenda. Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. So tonight we're going to talk about Jonathan Hay, the lawsuit with Diddy, the civil lawsuit, and how he's trying to turn it criminal. So we're going to talk about that, and then we have just a few other things that we're going to talk about. So welcome in. Thank you for being here. If you haven't already, you guys hit the like, subscribe to this channel. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and also hit the bell for notifications for stories like these and others. Don't forget, we do drop the link in the chat. So if you want to come up on stage and join in on this conversation, you are more than welcome to do so. So we're giving people time to come in, and we'll jump right into our stories. So free fall in Cali. So what we also do is we just talk about a plethora of things, just the different topics. But tonight we're going to do a little bit of that, but we're also going to talk about Jonathan Hay, who just had an interview today and just let us know, who I've been talking to personally back and forth. So I just kind of want to share some of the things that he talked about as well. So we're going to do that. So we'll give people a few more minutes. Again, thank y'all for being here. I appreciate it. Thank you to all of my moderators. You are the best, the best, the best. And I appreciate you guys. Let me get that link in the chat since I haven't done that yet. Thought I did it. So again, the link is in the chat in case anybody wants to join in on stage. I gotta go back over here. What are y'all up to on this Monday night? I was going to try to go a little earlier, but I was trying to finish listening to some things just so I can get it right. Just so I can get what I heard, get it right. So I wanted to continue to listen to that. So let me go back over here. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for stopping by. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. Let me hit Montana. I haven't talked to Montana since Sunday, probably. I mean, Saturday. So anyway, you guys, I'm going to share out. You guys share out. Tell your friends to get over here and talk to us. Invite your friends. Okay. All right. I shared out. All right, give me 1 second and then I'll be right back. And I'm going to go get my Pepsi right. I left it in my dining room. I'm going to go get my Pepsi, come back, and we're going to jump in. So hopefully some more people come in. If not, go ahead and share out, invite your friends, hit the like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Keep us in the algorithm. We're almost at 10K. Help us get to 10K. Help us get to 10K. All right, just a moment. All right, I'm back. So, hey, Harlem, hey, APZ, hey, everybody that's in the chat. So let's go ahead and get started. So I think I just want to talk about Jonathan Hay. I think that'll just do us for the night. Won't keep you long, but I want to talk about this. So I'm going to read what I was sent, and then we can kind of just go back to when he first came out and what we heard about him when he first came out. and then what he's saying today. And so I've listened to him. I've actually talked to him in the DMs, and he's been so polite and so sweet. So shout out to you, Jonathan, for even talking to me. I appreciate it, and for answering the questions that I had to ask. If there were any you were willing to answer. So I do appreciate that. And I'm going to get you on this channel one day. But in the meantime, thank you for, sharing what you shared with me today. So shout out to Jonathan. So let's just pull up a little bit about Jonathan, what we do know. So what we know is that he was Rihanna's publicist. Hold on, you guys, just a second. Somebody's asking me how to get here. Let me see if I can send the link. Just a second, y'all. I'm sorry. I think you can do it this way. Okay, so I sent it to them. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about it. But before we do that, let me just start over. Clarissa, my homegirl, and Papoose. Shout out to Clarissa, her video, her new song. So I looked at the reviews, and it's kind of mixed reviews, and I'm not sure. I'm not so sure that you've heard it yet, but I like it. I'm feeling Clarissa's song. People are saying, yeah, Papoose had to write on that. Papoose, how to make sure it was tight. Okay, good, fine. That's her man. Her man, her man, her man. So if he could add a little bit to make it a little bit better, like shout out to them for being by each other's side, regardless of the situation. I like the song. I like Clarissa a lot. And I love me some Papoose. So shout out to Clarissa, her new song. If you haven't heard it, go listen to it and let me know what you think. Some people is like, I like Clarissa, but she could keep the music and just stick to boxing. Some people are saying, like, it's fire. It's fire. She did good for her first time out. She's been rapping prior to this, but she just came out. And why not have multiple things that you can do to bring you the bag, right? So shout out to you, Clarissa, and shout out to Papoose as well on that. I had to get that out. So back to the story. So Jonathan Hay, he was the publicist for Rihanna back in, I think, like 2005. And so APZ, yeah. And so he came out and he was talking about a lawsuit prior. He never mentioned being a part of this lawsuit, but in one of his interviews, so he was on a lot of platforms. And on one of the interviews, he talked about Biggie's son and was like, he needs to be looked into a little more. But he was just saying how he did not like Jay-Z and why he didn't like Jay-Z. And so he talked about a lot of stuff. But at the time that he was coming out, like he never spoke about him being a part of the lawsuit. He said they even tapped into him and asked him to come on 50's documentary that 50 was going to put out, but he declined because it would have gave up the fact of the John Doe. He said his attorneys wanted him to be when they filed the civil lawsuit, that his attorneys wanted him to be a John Doe because of his safety, right? They wanted to protect him. He is really good friends with Lil Rod, and he's kind of helped him along the way. He was talking about how Cassie and Lil Rod came out and got Diddy indicted. So, I mean, he talks about a lot of stuff. And all the while he was talking about these things, he was actually the John Doe in the lawsuit that we're going to read about here. And then once I read it, we'll talk more about it. We'll have a dialogue, not a monologue. So y'all talk back to me and let me know what you're thinking, okay? Bad Bunny I saw Remy laughing at the song, but I didn't hear it yet. So Remy gonna give her heck about that song, right? Remy's fire. I love Remy, but I really did like Clarissa's song. And Remy got it going on too because she actually has a network coming out. So kudos to her as well. But yeah, Bad Bunny, you gotta go here. Let me know what y'all think. So let me share my screen and we'll go ahead and read what I do have. I think this is it. Maybe, yeah. Okay. All right. So here are the factual allegations. Now, I didn't bring my glasses in here. These are not the right ones. So let me see if I can see if this light is bright too. All right. We'll turn it down a little bit. All right, so let's just read it. It says factual allegations. Disclaimer: the allegations presented. I've got to have my glasses. I cannot. Y'all, give me a second. Sorry. Y'all know me. Y'all know me. I got to see. So hold on. Let me grab my glasses. Okay, let me get back over here. Sorry, y'all, for keep interrupting. But anyway, I just grabbed the closest that was to glasses that was to me. All right, so disclaimer: the allegations presented are that of the plaintiff in the complaint, summarized by Groke. Plaintiff John Doe alleges multiple incidents involving defendant Sean Combs and associate entities in 1998, plaintiff met Combs during a recording project for the Godzilla soundtrack in 2000 for the Godzilla soundtrack. In 2001, at Spy Club in Houston, plaintiff was invited to a private area by Combs and his entourage where his drink was drugged, causing unconsciousness and leading to hospital treatment for a drug overdose in Humble, Texas. In 2005, at Diddy's House studio in Manhattan, New York, plaintiff auditioned for a Notorious Big album, but was rejected. Later that year, during another visit to Diddy's house, Combs made inappropriate sexual advances, exposing himself and pressuring plaintiff to engage in sexual acts, which plaintiff resisted. During a subsequent encounter related to Jay-Z's American Gangster album production at Diddy's house, Combs locked plaintiff in a studio, displayed a handgun, and allegedly drugged and sexually assaulted him, including non-consensual oral copulation. Plaintiff woke up disoriented, alone, and traumatized. The Combs corporations and associated individuals allegedly knew of Combs's predatory behavior, but failed to investigate, intervene, or report it, enabling further assault. Causes of action. The first cause of action, sexual battery. The second cause of action, neglect. Negligence. I'm tripping. Negligence. Third cause of action, intentional infliction of emotional distress. Fourth cause of action, false imprisonment. Fifth course of action, violation of the Ralph Civil Rights Act. The sixth cause of action, negligent supervision and retention, failure to warn. The seventh cause of action, sexual harassment. Jurisdiction was in California, and this was filed on July the 7th, 2025. 2025. What is wrong with me? Prayer for relief. General and special damages exceeding the jurisdictional minimum, punitive damages per the California Civil Code, economic losses, medical, psychological expenses, attorney's fees, cost prejudgment and post-judgment interest and other relief deemed just. His attorneys are Gary Dordick, Dordick Law Corporation, Katrina R. Eldon, Dordick Law Corporation. The case is open currently as we speak. So that is the lawsuit that we are going to be talking about. So in this lawsuit, as you know, in July, he was so in July, he was John Doe. And they all during the time he had prior to this lawsuit, like he felt he had been blackballed in the industry. He was working with a lot of people, and he said it just became compromised. And he said that at one point he thought about suicide because of this. And he said that while it happened in California, they filed something where another authority can act on or interact and work this case outside of its jurisdiction. And they have a name for it, but I forgot what it's called. And so they filed for that. And he said that he was all the while being John Doe, like he wasn't hearing from California detectives. He wasn't hearing from law enforcement at all. Like it was quiet, but everybody else was talking about it. He never was able to tell his story because, again, he was John Doe. And he was saying that, so now today, he told me directly that as of today, he's no longer John Doe. He's going to be using his government name. So the things that happened to him, we're going to listen to this. We're not going to show it because it's somebody else's channel, but we're going to listen to some of what happened to him, why he's filed the lawsuit against Sean Combs. He's filed the lawsuit against, Combs Corporation, Sean Combs, CJ Wallace, which is Biggie's son, and Willie Mack. So this is why, but I want you guys to listen to why he's saying he filed the lawsuit, and then we'll talk more about it. So here we go. Tell me if you cannot hear it once I hit play, and then we'll fix it if you can't hear it. But at this point in the interview, they're asking him to tell them, like, give them the like gory details of really what happened. Like they said, I know it's uncomfortable for you to have to say these things, but like people want to know, what are we filing the lawsuit for? And he said, yes, I will go ahead and tell you why. So I'm going to turn it on, and then you tell me if you can't hear it, and then we'll try to fix it. All right, here we go. This is Jonathan Hay, but I'm going to try to let you listen this way. Tell me if you can't hear it. Wait a minute. I have to take these out so you can hear it.
So we did this Eric B. and
Can
Rakim
y'all hear it? Put a 1 if you can hear it.
That's Eric B. and Rakim, Follow the Leader, Reimagine His Jazz. And that hit. It was #1 on the Billboard charts for 11 weeks. And so we were looking for another artist to do that similar type of thing. The girl I was dating at the time, her name was Sarah Rushforth. She's from London. We were in Brooklyn. And she said that we should do Biggie. My first response was like, I don't really want to do Biggie. That's predictable. Everybody does Biggie and Tupac. You know, I'd rather do something like along the lines of what we did with like Eric B. and Rakim. Anyways, she talked me into it. But what was weird about all that is, like, looking back, is she told me, she says, you know, if we do the Biggie music, we could get CJ Wallace involved, Biggie's son. And I'm like, you know, how do you figure that? She was like, oh, it's magic. You know, we'll get him. You're a magical person. So fast forward today into looking back and going through all the stuff that we went through, that was a setup by her, because she had already known CJ Wallace. And we did this interview that you can see during the pandemic. It's still online with me, CJ Wallace, Willie Mack, and Sarah Rush. And she, I give her credit. It was like it was, her idea. She said she could get CJ Wallace. She suggested that we get CJ Wallace, and then we get him. And at the time, I'm just like, yo, I'm on a hot streak. We just had the #1 jazz album for 11 weeks. Now we got Biggie's son, to support this project, but she already knew him. And she was already a dancer. Like, I met her at a strip club called Platinum Dolls. It's like right when you leave Quad Studios. That's where we recorded a lot of All the Leader. You walk directly next door. It's 2 steps over, and you're in the strip club. So that's where I met her. And, I'm sure she finessed me, whatever, and I was a sucker. But over like the 2-week period, we were at the Williamsburg Hotel, and that's when she suggested this idea about doing Biggie. I didn't think that we'd really get CJ Wallace, but we did. We recorded the album, and sure enough, CJ Wallace reaches out and was like, I got wind of the project. I heard you're doing the project. We're a big fan of Rakim. My dad, Biggie, the Notorious Big, was a big fan of Eric B. Rakim. We love what you're doing. We'd love for you to come out to Los Angeles. So we go to Los Angeles, right? I rented this big house. I had a recording studio in the bottom. And we meet with CJ, we meet with Willie. The vibes are good. And then they want us to meet at this warehouse. And that's what's in the lawsuit, is the warehouse that we meet at. And so we're there for about 2 hours, and we're listening to the music. We're doing photo shoots, we're partying, and we're just, chilling. And then Diddy shows up, and that was unexpected, but, he showed up. And the reason that we were at this warehouse is because that was the warehouse this was in January of 2019. No, actually February or March of 2019. And that was the warehouse that was housing all of Biggie's clothes that he wore when he was alive, right? And so the clothes that he wore when he was alive were all on these racks everywhere, racks of all these clothes that he wore. And the reason that they were there is because they were donating them to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which he was being inducted in November of 2020. So there was all Biggie's clothes. We're going through all these artifacts. I'm blown away. And CJ even says, yo, you should wear one of my dad's original jerseys. So obviously that was an honor. Here we are doing this Biggie project. And now I put on like some of his original garments. And we did some photo shoots and everything else. Well, so when Puffy comes in, he's like going through the clothes, and he was like, nah, you should do this one, almost like a stylist. Because as you know, Diddy's #1 artist of all time is Biggie. Mm-hmm. The Notorious Big, that's his #1 artist. So at that point, he was still very controlling of the Notorious Big, his music, his brand, everything else. And so he was like, nah, you should wear this one. You should try on that one. Right? He closes the door. The door is closed. And, I've got like my t-shirt on. I'm just like putting on, different Biggie's clothes. He's got some like in this pouch next to him that are like piled up, because he's also grabbing clothes that they're donating to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Right? So he's got all these clothes on there. And I'm just looking through everything, not all the different clothes, just blown away by, what I'm looking at, an artist that has passed, one of the most historical artists of all time, the greatest bisexual rapper of all time is Biggie Smalls. And so I'm going through all those clothes, and I hear Diddy on his phone, and I didn't know if he was on FaceTime or whatever, but I could hear like, it sounded like, right? And so I'm just like, I'm not trying to like stare over at him and look over at him and all that type shit, right? So I'm just kind of minding my business, but also kind of in tune to what Diddy's doing. Everybody's out in the other, rooms. The music is playing loud, that we did. And it's just Diddy and I in this room with all of Biggie's clothes. Next thing you know, it's like I look over and it's like this dude is looking on his phone and he's like jerking off underneath one of the shirts. So I'm just kind of tripping, like, nah, maybe he's scratching himself. Maybe he's, it can't be what's going on. But sure enough, that's what he's doing, because he's like, as he's getting into it, he's like, yo, bro, finish me off. Just like, nah. So, he finishes off into one of Biggie's garments that he wore, and, like a nut towel or something. And then he does his thing, and he walks over and he throws that on my arm. And I'm just like, holy. And he's like, rest in peace, Biggie. And walks out and laughs. And I'm stunned. Because what the was that, right? And it was shocking because it's also Biggie's clothes, like his shirt. And that's the part of the lawsuit that went viral at first. And everybody was like, like making fun of it. Like, what do you mean, Diddy masturbated in the Biggie shirt? So, I put the shirt down. I like brush it off. I'm like, okay, we flew in, we're in LA. All these people are out there. And I go out there, I see my girl. And at that point, I'm just like stunned. She's like, what's wrong? I don't tell anything. I'm like, I'm going to go outside and smoke a cigarette. I'm outside smoking a cigarette, just trying to keep my composure, because I'm thinking about the project that we've done, the album that was finished. I didn't really know what to do. So I didn't do anything. Diddy left a bunch of ketamine, right? Like the most I've ever seen. Like, I'm talking about bricks. I don't know what it'd be for CJ and Willie and for us to have a good time while we're, making music and house music and everything else. And then he's out. 2 days later, we're back at the house and we go to this rave, this famous DJ named Carl Cox, just me and Sarah. And, we drop ecstasy to rave, psychedelics. We come back to the house and I tell her, yo, the weirdest thing happened. And I'm tripping. I get real emotional about it. And then she opens up to me and she says that she used to work with Diddy 10 years ago, because at that time she was 32. When she was 22, she used to, do private events for Diddy in London, in Tulum, and Ibiza and Brooklyn and Miami and New York. She was just like, like cocktail serving, but obviously, it was probably more, knowing, about her past now. So I tell her, she's like, just don't say anything. I'm sorry. Let's just keep the project going. It's not a big deal. Keep it moving. So that's what we did, is because, I had invested already in the project. I'd already done all this stuff. It's about Biggie, not, Diddy's whack shit. So I didn't say anything to anybody, and kept the project going, right? So the pandemic gets in full swing, and we released the first single, Big Papa, and that goes on like Rolling Stone and Spin Magazine. Me and CJ Wallace redoing his, dad stuff, and Diddy was like really like, controlling over what the music was going to be, what the vibe was going to be, because that it, until ejected, that is his artist, right? So, right. The project gets weird. That happens. And where, the project is buzzing, if I'm, put it to the side. And on the second attack, the real attack that happened is what happened in, a year later, which is in the lawsuit, which is they picked me up. So first of all, I finally came clean to CJ and Willie. Well, I came clean to CJ. I was like, bro, this is weird, bro. This is what happened. Like, this guy nutted in your dad's shirt. He threw it on me. I just felt like I needed to tell you that because right before that, sorry, I'm all over the place, but when he was inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in November, it starts off with Puff Daddy, and he's talking about obviously inducting Biggie into the Hall of Fame, and then it closes with Biggie's son, CJ Wallace, rock and roll. And so I didn't want to say anything to CJ until after his dad was inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I knew I was going to, so I waited until after that moment. So that's why I waited until early of 2021. And I go back out to LA, and that's when I tell CJ. And I also tell him that Willie's acting hella weird because they wanted to make the project like super gay, right? They wanted to meet Frank White meets Frankie Knuckles, and they wanted to be all inclusive, trans, LGBT, all this stuff that they want to include. CJ and Willie, as I said in one of your interviews, they were like a thing. They were like, boyfriend and boyfriend. But Willie was also doing some extra like weird shit with me, and which I've talked about in some of the other interviews. And so I let CJ know, like, bro, this is what's going on. This is what's happening. Shit is hella weird. And as soon as I told him, chaos broke out. Right. And they're like, we're canceling the project. And here I am out in LA, and so.
All right, so let's stop right here. So pretty much, basically, what the lawsuit is about being actually violated by Diddy. He's saying that Diddy actually put his private parts in his mouth and made him do things with him. They would drug him, and they asked him, well, if that happened to you, and because they thought initially Jonathan was gay, and he wasn't. He was there with his girlfriend. And he said, so once he told prior to this, so Diddy did that to him. They was like, well, why didn't you bite him? Like, try to get out of it. He said, because the reason he didn't do it is because do anything violent like that is because Diddy always had his goons with him, and that he would end up knocked out, violated, made it worse. So he just didn't do anything about it. He said, so when he told CJ about Diddy doing that with his father's clothes, like he said, hell broke loose. And he lost projects. He got blackballed in the industry. And so he wasn't talking about it at all. He was just they filed the lawsuit, and he said he never talked about it. He never came out and exposed who he was. And it was all for protection. And he said, well, now currently, so he said also during all this time that he had went through all this with Diddy, being actually violated by Diddy, and he had filed the lawsuit, and in the lawsuit he became John Doe again to keep his safety. So he said, and all the while, like, he was just struggling with the fact that this had happened to him. And he said he even tried to commit suicide. He said at one point he lived in, I think they was in New York, him and his girlfriend, and they had went and they had got pills, and it was supposed to be Percocet, I believe. and he took one, his girlfriend took one, and she passed out. He couldn't bring her back. Come to find out, they gave him fentanyl. And so it was just a lot of times that during this time that he felt like he wanted to that he wanted to commit suicide, because he just, a mere fact of going through everything that he went through. Hey, Montana. And so basically fast forward, he was like, well, people are talking about it. And the moment that he started coming out talking about it, CJ Wallace Nim would call him and say, hey, I want to get you back on the project. But he was like, I ain't crazy. I know what this is about, right? And like they all turned their back on him. And exactly what he said it was fentanyl, Harlem. He said it turned out that it was fentanyl. Anyway, he said they all turned their back on him. And they, but then out the blue, when he started coming and exposing people, he's like, oh, we want to, work this project. Let's just forget everything that happened. We apologize and all that. But he was like, I ain't crazy. So anyway, as of today, he said, he told me today, he said, as of today, I am no longer John Doe. He said, because I'm tired of people talking about it and I don't get to tell my story. So my question is, why are you talking about it if you have a civil lawsuit? Jonathan was like, I don't care about the civil lawsuit. I don't care about the money. His lawyers will be upset that he is coming out talking about it. He said what he wants to see happen is he wants CJ Wallace, he wants Willie Mack to go to jail. He wants them to be accountable for the things that they did to him. And then he wants Diddy to stay in jail and face criminal charges, not civil. He said, yeah, it would be nice to get money from a civil lawsuit, but I don't give a F about the money in the civil lawsuit. What I care about is justice, and justice for other victims that have been victimized and either not came out, scared to come out, haven't been heard, or whatever. So he was like, he's just don't care. I'm just coming out. I'm no longer gonna stay silent. I'm gonna say my side of the story, because I need for them to file criminal charges. I need them to, in California, to pick those charges up with Diddy and file those charges against Diddy, criminal charges. He said, I need CJ Wallace to be in handcuffs. I need Willie Mack to be in handcuffs. And he said, so that's why he's coming out. That's why he's talking about it. He talks about how everybody turned their back on him. He was like, F Faith Evans, F Faith's other kids, F Little C's, F Allison, F Diddy, F Biggie, F them all, because they all did him wrong. They was like, well, are you scared for your life now? And he was like, not really scared for my life now, because there's a lot of eyes on this. He was like, but I have to tell it because none of the detectives are returning my calls. Nobody's saying anything. So if he can't come out, maybe, but his lawyers are on top of things. And he's going to move forward with the lawsuit. So the civil lawsuit is very active, but he wants it to be a criminal case. Here's what I say about Diddy. Diddy is going to, I think, for the rest of his life, I don't know, but this is how I feel. The rest of his life, he's going to have people come up against him. And he's gonna have to face the music again in somebody's criminal court, where he said he wasn't gonna ever be in a criminal court again. But Jonathan is saying he's not gonna stop until Diddy remains in jail. He doesn't feel like the sentencing that Diddy got enough time for the things that he's done to people. But he's going to speak, and he's going to move forward until he gets justice. And that justice for him is for Diddy to do more time, for CJ Wallace to be locked up, for Willie Mack to be locked up. And even he talked about the lady, I forget her name, for her to be locked up too. So then the question was posed, what is it that once, this was in the interview, once Miss Wallace passed away, CJ Wallace, Faith Evan, and her other kids became the estate. And they was able to sell like 50% of it. Of course, they came up. Y'all know what Biggie estate is like, right? It's Biggie. And they're thinking that Jonathan is coming for his money, coming for him. It's like, I don't give a F about the money. I don't care about that. Yes, they are the state. They do make the money. I care about what I care about is justice. So then whenever I'm looking at this interview and I'm looking at the comments of, this is a big platform that he was on, and I'm looking at all the comments, and majority of the people is like, I believe Jonathan. I believe what he's saying. If you go back and look at some of Jonathan's interviews, Jonathan would speak on things and he said, this is not alleged. And the reason it's not alleged is because I was there. I saw it with my eyes. I know this to be true. So Jonathan, he's spilling the beans. He's coming. He's telling his story. He's not allowing nobody else to tell his story. But from what you guys know, and I'll just recap. He was violated by Diddy. First of all, the first time Diddy was pleasuring himself and he finished off in Biggie's clothes. Now they were in a warehouse. They were getting clothes ready for Biggie's clothes to be inducted. And so they were picking out different outfits. And so just him and Jonathan was actually in that room when he was doing what he was doing, and he let himself go and then threw it at Jonathan, got it all over Jonathan. He had to wash himself up. Later on, a year later, from my understanding, Diddy violated him by putting his private in his mouth. They're already on a project. He said he's not from California. He's never lived in California. He's just always been out there to do work. And this is where it took place. So he's saying that he's allegedly being actually violated and harassed by Diddy. So with you guys knowing this and knowing that he's coming out, he's telling his side of the story, whether he has a civil lawsuit or not, because my thing is, whoa, Jonathan, like, don't be out here talking if you have a lawsuit against this man, because like you're just spilling the beans out here on big platforms. He was like, I don't care. I don't care about that. He said what his hope is that he can get with Donald Trump, because he's friends, or he has a connection to Donald Trump's closest friends, and maybe they can do something to make something happen. So listening to his story and knowing, even if you haven't been following Jonathan and his interviews, do y'all believe what he's saying is true? Do you think that he should just be quiet, or do you think he has the right to tell his story, especially if he's not worried about the money in the civil lawsuit? And do you think that he should proceed to a criminal lawsuit? Like, what are your thoughts around this? Montana, hey, welcome up here. I'm sorry I was in the middle of this, but I'm not sure if you even pay attention to this kind of stuff, this story or not. But it just broke today that he is the John Doe in the civil lawsuit with Diddy and Biggie's son, CJ Wallace. They're saying he said allegedly, he said that CJ was like, this is just a money grab. This is because like my grandma passed and now they become the estate over his dad's stuff. And that's a lot of money. It's Biggie. They're just coming for my money. It's for my money. What do you guys think? So Wright says, in general, a civil lawsuit cannot be upgraded to a criminal one. Different procedures, right? So we get that part. So that's so right. That is so right. But what he's saying is there's enough. My from where I'm looking at on my side, from the outside looking in, there's enough to bring criminal charges, like a whole new set of charges against him. My question would be, if he goes into a civil court to file charges civilly, can he use that same evidence amongst other evidence to bring a criminal charge against him? Do you guys believe what he's saying? Do you guys believe this happened to Jonathan? They're saying, why is Jonathan coming out now? Why are people, he said there's a stigma that Diddy's lawyer has put out. And this stigma is that people are going to always come at Diddy with lawsuits and just like make these stories up to make Diddy look like he's that man, he's that bad person. But in reality, Diddy really, allegedly, what they say, Diddy really did this stuff to people, right? And so how can we ignore that? And why can't we come out and say what happened to us? So y'all, what are y'all thinking? Let me know what you're thinking. Do y'all think it's a money grab? Do you think what Jonathan Hay is saying is true? Do you think that he could possibly file civil charges and that Diddy would be sitting in a criminal court again? Because remember, Diddy said, "You'll never catch me in another criminal court again." What are y'all's thoughts? Rice says, "Can it turn into one? Yes, but relies on evidence, discovery, referral, and law enforcement." Yeah. So I have another question. Let me see what else she said. Why go back after he throws that message here? But listen, Bad Bunny, thank you for saying that. And I want to ask him that. I have these questions. I'm gonna tap into him right now because I want that. I'm gonna try to answer that before we go, because that's when I was listening and I was hearing it, because I don't listen to this interview a couple of times, right? I'm saying, if you did that to me that first time, you don't get another chance to violate me. So once I came out of that room and washed myself off or whatever I had to do because he did that, why would I go back for more? Knowing, because even Jonathan says that he's pissed off because Faith knew about it. Everybody around Diddy knew how he was. The Matt person, Willie Matt, like everybody knew and no one said anything or intervened. If you knew, why go back? Why go back so that you continue to be violated? Is my question. There has to be.
He wanted to do it.
I need
Sound
an
like
answer. What did you say, Montana?
sound like he wanted to do it.
So yes, so I don't know that he wanted to do it. So here's my thing, or here's what's been the thing, Montana, right? Is that people are in this industry, and at that point, Diddy was on top of the world at that point, and he had this kind of control over people that made them come back, right? And so I don't know. I mean, I know that's not a good excuse for why to go back, but he said he definitely wasn't gay, and they didn't know. They thought they said they got it wrong. They read the room wrong. They thought he was gay, and he was.
Listen, I didn't know who he was. Like, this is my first time ever seeing him right here. And
Really?
when I clicked on the link and came in, doggone, I knew just the way the picture is, I knew he was sassy.
Yeah. So let me see. Now hold on. I'm gonna ask him a question real quick. I'm trying to get the answer, Bunny, and then I'm also gonna ask him why go back after Diddy threw the shirt on you. Hold on, y'all. Let me see if he'll answer. Okay.
So the day he had that interview today or something?
Yeah, this was a new interview today because he had came out before, but when he had came out before and he was like pretty much doing kind of like what Jaguar Wright was doing, and he was just spilling the beans. He was just telling it like it was, like what he saw in the industry, because he was Rihanna's ex-publicist. So he's been in the industry, but when he was coming out before now, he was coming out just as somebody that was in the industry that saw these things, right? But he was, during that time he was coming out, he was always the John Doe in this civil case, but he didn't want to blow his cover because his attorneys wanted him to be a John Doe to protect him. He said he never wanted to be a John Doe. I think he answered me. Let me see.
Listen, you hear me right? So the whole time he was getting his mouth full and did an interview and told a mouthful. That's diabolical.
Right. So I'm trying to see if he answered the question. He hasn't. What he did say, Bunny, is that Bad Bunny, she did survive. She did survive.
You heard what I had said?
He said What'd you say, Montana?
I said the whole time he was getting his mouth full and did an interview and told a mouthful. He's diabolical.
Yeah, yeah. I just, you know, so let me just make this disclosure right now. None of us, not me, not Montana, not Harlem, none of us here, we believe victims. So we don't bash victims here. This is only our opinions. Some opinions may agree with, some you may not. But I mean, I know what you're saying, Montana, right?
Mm.
Now, what are we talking? Like, it's just so confusing to me that so many people after Cassie came out started just coming out the woodwork.
And Diddy did this to him?
Yes. So listen, he answered me. He just answered me. So
Diddy know better than that.
to answer Bad Bunny, yes, she survived. They did get her back. It was fentanyl. Let me see. The whole industry is undercover. Listen, he calls Biggie the I don't know how he put it, but the hottest bisexual rapper that we've ever known. Because y'all know Biggie went hard. He got down through there. But he's saying, and he's saying this is not alleged. This is what he's saying. I'm saying alleged. He said this is not alleged. Biggie was bisexual. What else did he say before I answer? He first came out talking about a lot of different things, right? And so just now he answered. He said, so I asked him, why did you go back? He said, I didn't see him again until the attack in 2021. So basically, what happened is once that happened, he didn't go back. What happened is they happened to be in the same place so the attack was in 2021, but like where he was a year later when this happened was not even meaning he didn't even know Diddy was going to be showing up at the place that he was in. So they just happened to be, so it wasn't like it happened, he left Diddy, he went back. He left, he went back. He said, no, that's not how it's happened. He just didn't know he would be seeing him again. And when he saw him again, he was violated. So yeah, Harlem saying he first came out talking about a lot of things. He talked about his experience with Rihanna. He talked about Jay-Z and how foul Jay-Z is. He talks about how this industry of men are gay or undercover gay and won't come out and say it, but they like men. And Diddy and Biggie, I don't remember him saying that Jay-Z was, but did he say that, Harlem, that you know of? But he mentioned a lot of people that he said were big names in this industry that were.
So why you saying that? Why are you coming out saying that 20 years after the man being dead? That's crazy. I still don't believe it though.
So are you saying, Montana, from hearing what you just know now, that like you don't believe anything that he's saying at this point?
I don't believe that.
Okay. If you believe what Jonathan's saying, if you believe any of what Jonathan is saying, put a 1. If you don't, put a 2. Montana already told me it's his 2. Listen, I'm gonna have to say Jonathan is very believable to me in that he never came on the interviews that he had and was like, allegedly this happened, but I don't know, but allegedly he was like, no, this is what I saw. This is what even if it didn't pertain to him, he was like, and that ain't alleged. So like, I don't know. But ABZ says, my thing is all of these accusers sacrifice themselves to succeed, advance forward, and or live lavish lifestyles. It doesn't matter why the bank robber robbed the bank, they still rob the bank. Right. I like that, APZ. I like that. Now, I like that. There was a transgender used in Biggie's video. Yes. Did you know that, Montana?
You say what now?
So they talked about a transgender. He talked about a transgender being used in one of Biggie's videos. Let me ask him which one. Do you remember which one he said? Which video? So they said they was on. So then he also talked about Like they was on this big project and they wanted to make it and I think he said it when we was listening just now. The interview's so long, I don't want to bore y'all with it. Y'all can go look at it. And shout out to Street, who was that? Shout out to Real Life Productions who did the interview today. But let me ask him. I'll see if he responded. I just asked him. But anyway, he said there was on this big project, and he said Diddy was a part of it. And he said that they all wanted to do plenty dudes in hip hop in the closet. So you won. Everybody, yeah. If you believe him, put a 1. If you don't, put a 2. But he said that they was wanting to make this project where there was just making like gay, and CJ Big's son was like, nah, like he didn't want to do that. Like, why are we doing that or whatever? Or either CJ said that's what they wanted to do, is make this whole about gay people. Now, listen, I have no problem with gay people. I have a lot of friends. I love them. They're gay. I don't care what you choose. You're still people to me, and I respect you. But he was just saying that they wanted to make it that way, and he was like, no, why are we doing that? And so then that's when he talked about the transgender being a part of his video. So hopefully he'll answer me. I wish he would come on. He's kind of hesitant about coming on. And I granted my platform is smaller than the ones he's been going on. One of his friends he's talking about working with got 5 million followers. So like you couldn't even find me in that. But at least he is talking to me, and I want to be respectful to him. So I'll only say what he says to me and nothing else. And then, okay, so she's gonna look and see. But yeah, like Montana, like a lot of people feel like you feel like they there's this platform that he did the interview on is really big. And there was a lot of people is like,
I know who you talking about. He out of Dallas. He out of Dallas, Texas.
He is. And he
I
said
know.
that they said that a lot of people was like, he's a phony, like he just coming out, he just want to try to get money, it's a money grab. But then a lot of people are like, I believe him, like I really believe him. So I mean, but that's with anything, right? You're gonna get some people that believe you, highly believe you, and some don't. What I'm saying here is I respect Jonathan, and I respect what he went through, whatever that looked like. I respect. That's exactly what it was, Harlem. Big Papa video. Same person was used in Flavor in Your Ear by Craig Mack, all Bad Boy Records. Yep, that's it. That's what it was.
Diddy just filthy. I don't even want to think about that no more.
Yeah, so it's just crazy. And so he said everything that he went through, he went to this, it was a popular place, right? I can't remember the name of it, but you can go all the way to the top of it and sit outside and drink or whatever, mingle with your friends, stuff I like to do. And he said he went in there and he said he was by himself, and something just kept telling him jump. He said this stuff has bothered him so bad, and I feel sorry for him. Like, I don't want people to have to go through that. He said got so bad that his girlfriend, they was together for 5 years. She's a strong woman, but it got so bad for them. It's so scary for them. She had to be admitted in order to cope from being scared of things. And he said he tried to kill himself. Like, it was a lot.
Now I could believe that. Like I could believe it about Diddy because he's not the first person that said that.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
I say I could believe him on the Diddy part because he's not the first person that's claimed gay allegations on Diddy.
Right.
So with that being said, like now I'm believing that Diddy was like this the whole time, and the women that he married or whatever or brung around in the public was just for show, for the publicity, just so people could still respect him, so he could hide his faults and people to could still respect him, because he know if he'd came out public with it, nobody wouldn't respect him no more, like Jay-Z and all them.
Yeah, but see, the thing about it though, Montana, is they're saying, and this ain't just Jonathan saying this, they are saying majority of rappers, a lot, I ain't gonna say majority, A lot of rappers that you would not even think of, you wouldn't even say that to them, right?
Mhm.
Because you would be disrespecting
Listen,
manhood,
I could
that
believe
they
it.
are like that. And Jonathan ain't the first to say it.
Listen, I could believe it because you got a lot of rappers painting their nails black. Like what's the meaning behind that? And then just like a couple of years ago, you had Young Thug did a photo shoot with a dress on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you just had another rapper that just had a concert or whatever. He had his stomach out.
That's crazy. Now let me ask you this, Montana, because you really don't even, from what I know, like when we start talking about people, or like I had somebody that was gay that we was talking about, you was like, I'm done with this conversation, right? So you don't even like that, right? But
I mean, I
when
don't have no issue with the conversation because I got a gay brother. You feel what I'm saying? And a gay
okay,
nephew.
so good. So not good, but I mean, okay, that's fine. Because I love them. I love those people. I don't care. I have no problem with them. But dang, I lost my train of thought. What was I about to say?
About me ended the conversation.
Oh yeah, yeah. So like a lot of people like in the industry, a lot of men, you could go back and you can look like from the 90s, like from where just far back, like what I can remember. Like you saw them in dresses, because they wanted to make money, they wanted to be on TV, so they compromised and put a dress on. You saw Jamie Foxx put lipstick on and wigs and like but making the bag in the bag and say that they're
Mhm.
not that way. For the bag, would you do it?
No, because I still want to uphold my integrity.
Because of your morals and values, right?
Yeah.
So either I can, and like I had an interview with the lady that was on Friday after next. You was there, and she was like, "I am there's a couple of things I'm just not gonna do, whether you're gonna pay me or not." And that's she's not gonna use the N word, and she ain't gonna be doing a lot of cussing. So she get parts that don't do that, right? And
Right.
she gets to make that choice. And she gets to say, I don't care what you paying me. I'm walking away if you're asking me to do these things. Some people is just like, what is it gonna cost? Okay, if you want me to do this, what you gonna pay me to do it? And they do it. But they say, but I'm not that way. But then you have people like Jonathan coming out and saying, okay, you looking at him one way, but I'm telling you what he is. I'm telling
Like,
you that he is that way.
bump that money, your respect and your integrity come before anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Long as you well respected, you will never be broke.
You won't. And there'll be other parts. There will be other opportunities.
Yeah.
APZ says, so I say that to say it doesn't matter what they stayed around. Now they are victims. I believe some of them were accomplices after time. After time. Diddy should not be the only one in jail. I agree with that. Diddy should not be the only one in jail. He shouldn't went to jail by himself, but he ain't turn on nobody either. Let's see what else. What is right saying? What are you saying, right? Beard marriage relationship. She said it said black males in dresses in film is some kind of ritual, allegedly. But what? Why? What makes you want to be in a dress to get the bag? Like I know it might be millions of dollars. They might just have to put the dress on. I'm definitely not justifying Diddy's actions. I feel like others should be in prison with him. Exactly. Exactly. You have the right to say that. It's not that whatever Diddy's done in his past to people, he's got to pay for that. But also, there's other people that helped along the way for him to accomplish those things that he did that should be looked at as well.
I like fashion and shit. Like, I mean, my bad for cussing.
It's okay.
I like fashion and stuff like that. But you got some people that just take it too far. I grew up the old school way. You got, the new fashion where you got the guys wearing the little bags that go across
Yeah,
their shoulder and stuff like that.
that stuff
But
is cute though.
I'm big on fashion, but I'm old school. I believe in holding my money in my wallet.
Yeah, I get it. Because one of Diddy's son
It
had a
just made me
bag on him. I was like, ooh, I need to have that
it just
bag.
made me feel like I'm wearing a pocketbook across my shoulder.
Yes, you're right. Right, that is correct. But Prince always had a woman on his side too.
You saw Diddy always had a woman on his side.
Well, I know
Yes.
you're right. You're right. I guess that doesn't matter. Yeah. So anyway, let me see. Did he respond? I know he's probably like, I'm done. He didn't talk. He didn't answer me. So, but anyway, I wanted to just share that. I wanted to just see what you guys thought about it since it came out today. Hopefully, Jonathan will come here and just answer some other questions that we have. In between, there's some stuff in between of what he's saying, which he didn't have time enough in just one interview to do. But again, Jonathan is looking at big, big, huge platforms because he's on a mission. He's on a mission. And at the end, they told him that, he just was saying that, what do you want if you had the opportunity to talk to like Diddy or talk to CJ Walker, and then what would you do? He said, I want to fight. I would want to fight. And he said, and then I would tell them, F them. He said the word though. F you, Little C's, F you, Faith Evans, F you, CJ and your brother, F you, Diddy, F you, Biggie, F all y'all. And that was it. That was it. So he's going to continue to go on this, I guess, whatever he's doing. And he said that his attorneys might be upset because they do have an actual active lawsuit going on, but he's just tired of people telling his story. So he had to say it.
Whatever. So he probably got stuff in his mouth now as we speaking.
In his what?
He probably got stuff in his mouth right now as we speaking.
No, he don't. Montana. So anyway, that's him. I really wanted to talk more about him, and I may just ask him, and we can get to talk about it. I want to know more about why he feels like he feels about. Right, said stop it, Montana. I want to know why he feels like he does about Jay-Z. He can't stand Jay-Z. I want to know what exactly he's experienced hands on, because a lot of what Jonathan is saying is stuff that he experienced on his own, not hearsay. It's stuff that he actually experienced. And so I would be interested in knowing more about why he does not like Jay-Z. He does not like him. And then a lot more about how the relationship was with while he worked with Rihanna, and if he had any complications or anything that he just didn't, that didn't cope or connect well with Rihanna. So I'm sure, yeah. I was just saying, I want to know more about Rihanna and her stuff. I'm sure he witnessed a lot. Yeah, like, because we know the rumors, right? So I want to know what else. And Jay-Z is just not a likable person. Yeah, because there's a lot of people that just cannot stand Jay-Z. I'm like, why, y'all? What did Jay do for people not to like him like that? Is it
Listen,
the power that he had?
listen. Probably because at the end of the day, if you had $1 billion or a couple of $100 million, how would you act? You
Million
act
or billion?
if you had a couple of hundreds of millions in the bank or $1 billion in the bank, you would
But I
act the
wouldn't
same
be
way,
mean to people.
huh?
I wouldn't be mean to people.
I mean, hey, that's how those type of people. Mostly, that's how those type of people are.
Hmm.
If you
Okay.
broke, you can't be in the room with them. All this other stuff.
Like they was broke before.
But when the last time it was broke?
I know, but that's just not right.
You just got some people that live that uppity life.
Yeah. I would live uppity, but I wouldn't be disrespectful to people. That's just me.
Money do change people.
Money do change people. This is how Diddy destroyed Craig Mack's career from Bad Boy Records to Cult Life and his real cause of unaliving. That's interesting. So anyway, that's that on Jonathan Hay and a little bit of his interview. I'm gonna try to talk to Jonathan a little more, see what I can do, and talk more about it. Hopefully, I
That's who
can.
you was messaging.
Hopefully, I can entice him to come on, but he's really engaging in the larger platforms. Yeah, he was telling me just today that he's no longer the John Doe. He is the John Doe in the civil lawsuit, but he's using his government name.
Sure, he better continue at John Doe. You calling some major hitters names and stuff and allegations and stuff.
He said he don't care.
You might, oh man.
Harlem said, which one? I heard about another one. This is a different one, right, Harlem? Dang, Jay. I don't know. We'll see. Let me see if we got something else to talk about before we go. I got some emails, so let's see what's in the emails. So while I'm looking, we're going to.
You heard about the bar that got on that had a shooting down here in South Carolina?
Yes, I
10
heard
people
that.
injured and 4 dead.
Yes, I saw that. Hate to hear that. Also, he said that King Combs and CJ Wallace are really good friends too. And where he was, King Combs pulled up and just sat outside for a long time. And then he pulled off. So he said he didn't know what that was about. But him and CJ Wallace are really close friends, like brothers. Like, dang.
Oh yeah, you see about Mark Sanchez, the
Mm-mm.
NFL quarterback, the sports analyst.
Is it the one that was for sexual?
No,
that
he just had he had a assault charge. He stabbed somebody.
Ooh, no. I would see why you didn't send it to me.
Last Sunday he had a game to commentate or whatever, and he never showed up.
What's his name?
Not Mark Sanchez.
Okay, let me look it up.
He had a game last Sunday. He never shows up to commentate for the game because he done got locked up.
Ooh.
And then I think you seen where the New Orleans Saints cheerleader fell.
Mm-mm. How you be having all that and ain't shared that with us?
Because you don't too much cover sports stuff.
But we're getting ready to start on Thursdays.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So it says Mark Sanchez booked at Marion County Jail gives first public comment since stabbing, says he's recovering slowly. Mark out of the hospital, the former quarterback appeared at, they said Mark Sanchez is out of the hospital. The former quarterback appeared at Marion County Jail on Sunday to have his fingerprints and a mugshot taken. It was his first public appearance since he was arrested and charged with a felony and multiple misdemeanors in a stabbing incident. I hate saying that. He said Sanchez, who was stabbed in an altercation with a truck driver, appeared to be in pain as he gingerly entered the building. Sanchez had to appear to have his fingerprints and mugshot taken in order to leave Indianapolis per Max Lewis. So, like, what? They got into a fight and
they got into it over a parking spot. What? And Mark Sanchez, he was intoxicated and attacked the man for parking in his spot. So the man felt like he was, his life was in danger. So he stabbed Sanchez to get him off of it.
Dang.
And he pressing charges and he's suing him.
He's suing Mark?
Yeah, so I guess he posted this happened on a late Saturday night. So Sunday morning, when they commentate for the NFL games or whatever, he supposed to show up and he never showed up. So they looking for him, and the whole time he was booked in jail, getting fingerprints and stuff in the hospital.
They just said he was in the hospital.
Yeah, he was in the hospital, but he had to go to jail too because the man for assault.
Yeah, but only just to show up to do his fingerprints and stuff.
Yeah, but when you in the hospital, when a person press charges on you, you have to go to the hospital. They handcuff you to the bed and all that. You sit there and wait because you're still
Oh,
under arrest.
oh,
And then that New Orleans Saints cheerleader, you know how they throw the cheerleaders up in the air and they catch them. They
yeah.
threw her up in the air and she fell and hit the ground.
Ooh, ooh. Did she die?
No, she ain't died. She said she wasn't injured or nothing, but she posted the video on social media and the NFL ordered her to take it down immediately.
Oh my gosh.
Man, if that was me, I'd have failed. Everything would have been hurting. I'd have been in the hospital getting x-rays, all type of stuff. Listen, then you ordered me to take the video down.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then she told them, you know how much NFL cheerleaders get paid?
Not a lot, I heard.
Man, she said when she did an interview and told the news about how they ordered her to take it down, she said they only make $15 an hour.
Yeah, not a lot at all. They don't make no money. And the driver was just delivering food. He would be gone minutes later. Makes no sense. It makes no sense. People done lost it. So in the Mark Brooks, I'm gonna be following that trial. Week 1 for Mark Brooks trial. So we'll be talking about that. So whoever, I'm not saying everybody, whoever wants to take a look at it this week so we can talk about it at the end of the week about the happenings throughout the week. Week 1.
Who is Mark Brooks?
I said Mark, I meant Robert Brooks. Sorry. Hold on. Former New York correctional officer testifies against colleagues in Robert Brooks. So Robert Brooks is hold on, I'll tell you exactly who he is. But I saw it and I was like, I'm interested in that. So what, but if you will, hold on. Is Robert Brooks the one that was that passed away in jail after being beaten by a corrections officer?
I don't know who that is.
Is that the one I'm looking for? Yes. So it says Robert Brooks is restrained by a correctional officer at the Marcy Correctional Facility. 4 prison guards pleaded guilty Monday in the unaliving of Robert Brooks, a Black inmate whose brutal beating at an upstate New York prison was captured on body cam videos. Yes, that's who it is. Yep. So we're going to be watching that closely. So Montana, kind of Google it and kind of read over it or catch up to it, okay? So we can talk about it as well. So we'll be talking about Robert Brooks' trial. That's in week 1 right now.
And they canceled Mo3's trial.
Why?
I guess something. I don't know. I guess something is a setback. I'll look more into it.
Oh, okay. Okay, we'll talk about that too.
Because his trial was coming up in October.
Okay.
This month.
Yeah.
I think it was set for the 20th or something like that.
Okay. So basically, I'm gonna be talking more with Jonathan on the Diddy situation, the Rihanna stuff, and hopefully he'll come on. But if not, I'll get answers from him. Then we'll talk about the Robert Brooks trial. Also, I want to look at a little bit more on the Real House. Then we'll do the reality stuff as well. So that's where we are. Anything else before we get out of here, Montana, that you have?
That's pretty much it.
Okay. So if you get stuff like that, just send it. We can always talk about it. We can take a look at it.
Well, yeah, my Falcons upset the Bills tonight.
Falcons and the Bills. Atlanta Falcons?
Yeah.
And then who's the Bills?
Buffalo.
Buffalo Bills. So that's New York, right?
Yeah. I'm proud of my Falcons, man. We ain't never beat them people.
Are you like who are you like really who is your NFL team? Like
The,
for
Fa-
real hard.
the
Huh?
Falcons. The
The
Falcons.
Falcons is your team?
Yeah.
Okay. The Falcons. It's the Chiefs and the Cowboys for me if I have to pick. What about basketball?
I follow every way LeBron go.
So LA?
Yeah. LA.
I can get with that. LA and the Thunder for me. And we're gonna be talking about it. So because I'm hearing Russell Westbrook is
Wilson.
coming back to
Oh,
Oklahoma.
Westbrook.
Yeah,
He need to go ahead and retire.
yeah. Where is Kevin Durant? Like, what is he doing?
Kevin Durant went back to
Warriors for me too, right? What'd you say?
Kevin Durant at the Suns, Phoenix.
So is he still like the Kevin Durant, or is he like falling
I
off?
mean, no, he ain't falling off. He just play his role.
Yeah, I'm a Steph fan, right? I am to the core. How did I leave them out? So yeah, he said he's shooting threes from the locker room. What did you say, Montana?
I would just let you know he played for the Phoenix Suns.
Right, but is he still good?
Yeah, he's still good
I don't hear a lot about him no more. Is why I asked. Maybe
because
it's 'cause I'm really like into sports, but I'm about to be. All right, you guys. So we're gonna go, but remember, I'm gonna talk to Jonathan. We're gonna follow the Brooks thing and talk about that in depth. Montana's gonna bring me the sports stuff. We can talk about
and
that.
I'm gonna see if I can bring somebody from South Carolina State band because it's some talks that been going on against us. We played North Carolina A&T, which is another HBCU out of Greensboro, and
Mhm.
it was North Carolina A&T homecoming, and we beat them on their homecoming, so they mad because you know what I told you about the fifth quarter.
Yeah.
Instead of us staying to play the battle with North Carolina A&T for the fifth quarter, we left
Why?
because you know when schools like when HBCUs have homecoming, they usually don't allow the visitor bands to be there because it's taking up seats for tickets or whatever seats for the people who coming for because homecoming is a big crowd.
Right.
So you got alumni across the world coming, so they don't want to use up seats for the band for the visitors band.
That ain't
They're-
fair.
So it was some controversial that they didn't want our band to show up because they want to sell the tickets for seats.
Mm.
So our athletic director at South Carolina State told them, hey, if our band can't come, our football team won't show up for y'all homecoming.
Yeah.
So pick your poison.
Ooh.
So they decided to let us go. So we said bump it since y'all ain't want us here in the first place. So why should we battle for a fifth quarter? So they just left.
Oh.
Like how they supposed to. And I want to, bring somebody in to elaborate more on it.
Okay. Well,
And
let me know.
I wish I knew somebody from A&T, so it could be a debate.
Right. Maybe you just figure out somebody.
I mean, no, I'm talking about somebody from that went to that school, like a alumni.
And maybe you can figure it out. Okay. Either way, just let me know who you come up with if you come up with somebody, and we'll figure that out. Okay.
Okay.
Because I'll be interested. I'll listen to that. I love the bands. I love talking about it. So I like it. Because you know me, I've never experienced the HBCU, never, ever, ever. So it's good for me.
And you got North Carolina A&T, they throwing shots in their news saying that we ran from their fifth quarter.
Ugh.
So that's what making it interesting.
If you left, you knew that was going to be something. Yeah. Well, y'all, thank y'all for being here tonight. Montana, thank you for hopping on. I'll be forgetting and I reach out a different way, but I'll keep you posted. But anyway, y'all, thank you for being here tonight, engaging in the conversation. We shall return tomorrow. And I hope y'all have a good night. Thank y'all for coming.
All right.
Thank you, APZ. Thank you, Rye. Thank you, Harlem, Bad Bunny, everybody that showed up. Thank you. Bye, guys.